What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 13:50 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East. I wanted to update you guys on the situation with Iran. So, the Wall Street Journal has confirmed that the Pentagon is sending another aircraft carrier strike group to the Middle East. We're hearing that the Pentagon ordered the USS George H.W. Bush to prepare to deploy alongside the USS Abraham Lincoln. So, this is absolutely huge breaking news. And Iran said that they would interpret the deployment of a second American aircraft carrier to the Middle East as a definite step towards war, noting that it would undermine the ongoing negotiations. Iran will not allow additional military threats during the negotiation process, and this will be seen as a sign of false intentions and insincerity from the Americans. So, very, very interesting news coming in. And two KC-135 Stratotanker aerial refuelers with the U.S. Air Force departed Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan last night and flew southwest towards Taiwan to refuel two B-52 strategic or nuclear bombers that left Andersen Air Force Base in Guam for a show of force directed at China off the coast of Taiwan. This is the second such mission by the B-52s forward deployed to Guam since the beginning of February. Wow, so the U.S. flexing its muscles, sending B-52s to Taiwan. Absolutely insane. And France and Germany are jointly exploring an ICBM system made by the Ariane Group. The Franco-German aerospace firm is behind the Ariane rockets and France's M51 ICBMs. Okay, so France and Germany are building ICBMs that are land-based. So they're either going to be launched from silos or they're going to be launched from trucks, okay? But the M51 is France's submarine-launched ballistic missile. They have 4 nuclear-armed submarines, and the M51s are their main ICBM that can travel anywhere in the world, okay? So the same company that made France's submarine-launched ICBMs is now going to be working with France and Germany to jointly make a land-based ICBM. That is huge news, guys. Massive breaking news. Another step towards World War III and nuclear war. And this update was sponsored by NYPrepper Supply. Guys, NYPrepper Supply is doing a $100 discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description down below. The normal price for their 3-month kit is $800, and they're selling it for $700. That's $700 for 3 months of emergency food, up to 2,000 calories per day for 3 months, and it has a shelf life of 25 years, all packed within rugged, watertight buckets that don't take up a lot of space. You don't have to worry about rotating anything. You don't have to monitor expiration dates. You don't need a massive place to keep all your food. You can fit all this food in a tiny closet in a studio apartment. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $100 off the NYPrepper Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And yesterday, B-52s from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana flew out into the Pacific and then turned around halfway and came back. So we actually have a radio recording of the B-52s interacting with an air traffic controller in the San Francisco area. So let me just play a clip of that.
San Francisco radio, Caper 1-1. Caper 1-1, San Francisco, go ahead. San Francisco radio, Caper 1-1 with position report. 3850 north, 13653 west at 202 Zulu. Flight level 270. Estimating 39er north, 13100 west at 2100 Zulu for aerial refueling with Tech 31 AR East. How copy?
So that's the B-52 communicating with the San Francisco air traffic controller. Very, very interesting. And if you guys are not aware, this is basically training to deploy nuclear weapons. So B-52s, because they're not stealthy like the B-2s, carry long-range cruise missiles with nuclear warheads on them. And during a nuclear war with Russia or China, they would just fly maybe halfway across the Pacific and halfway across the Atlantic and launch missiles, mostly from the Pacific, because the Pacific is closest to Russia and all the Russian targets in Siberia. So they would fly halfway across the Pacific, release their missiles, and then turn around and come back. And yesterday, Trump met with Netanyahu for several hours, and now Netanyahu is on his way back to Israel. I wanted to update you guys on that meeting. So Netanyahu said today that any agreement with Iran must include ballistic missiles and proxies. He also said Trump's conditions could lead to a good deal with Iran, but I doubt from the outset the possibility of reaching it. So Netanyahu doubts that it's going to actually take place, that the agreement will take place. But this is a huge difference between Netanyahu and Trump, because Trump says he's okay with just a nuclear deal with Iran and then going from there, which is basically the same thing that Obama did. Actually, Trump would have a weaker deal than what Obama had with Iran, but Trump is basically just going to make another new Obama nuclear deal without including ballistic missiles and proxies, and Israel wants the ballistic missiles and proxies included. So Israel may decide to act on their own if this agreement, if it does happen with the U.S. and Iran, and it's not what Israel wants, they're going to act on their own, okay? And the Trump administration reportedly secretly sent thousands of Starlink terminals into Iran last month, according to U.S. officials. And yesterday, during the Trump-Netanyahu meeting, the U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio were present in the meeting, as well as advisors Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. And the Israeli Broadcasting Authority is reporting that Netanyahu presented Witkoff, Kushner, and Rubio with evidence that Iran was carrying out mass executions of protesters. Wow. And sources told Israeli Channel 12 that Israel believes that negotiations between the U.S. and Iran will not end in an agreement. Israeli Channel 12 also said Netanyahu discussed with Trump joint action against Iran in the case negotiations fail. And Israeli Channel 14 is reporting that the Israeli army has completed preparations for new plans in anticipation of a potential confrontation with Iran. So the Israeli military is prepared. And Israeli Channel 14, quoting a senior official, reported that we will operate with enormous force on several fronts as soon as the order is given by the Chief of Staff. And Israeli Channel 14 is reporting that maximum alert status against Iran with readiness for an immediate shift from defense to attack is present. So they're on maximum alert. Also, Israeli Channel 14 is reporting that the multi-layered defense system is widely deployed across Israel now. So that is huge news. And right now, just a few minutes ago, we had a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane flying without its tracker turned on near Offutt Air Base. This was sent to me by a spotter on the ground who lives right near Offutt Air Base. And he saw this thing flying, coming in and landing with no tracker on. So that is an indication that we are on high alert when the nuclear war command and control planes don't have their trackers on. And the Israeli Navy says it conducted a large-scale military drill this week involving its fleet of warships, submarines, special forces, and border security. The maritime drill, which lasted several days, was aimed at improving the Navy's readiness for defending Israel's territorial waters and strategic assets at sea, the IDF said, meaning Israel's offshore gas and oil rigs. Hundreds of sailors, including the Shayetet 13 naval commandos, aboard the Navy's missile boats, corvettes, submarines, and patrol boats, participated in the drill. The Israeli Air Force and Cyber Defense Directorate and other branches of the IDF were also involved in the exercise. So a massive exercise protecting Israel's offshore gas and oil rigs. And the IDF says the troops practiced various scenarios, including seaborne infiltrations, encounters with enemy forces, aerial threats, multi-front combat, fighting in open sea and near the coast, and the defense of strategic assets, including gas rigs, ports, and other infrastructure. And the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Trump administration discussed seizing Iranian oil tankers to pressure Iran, but backed down for fear of an Iranian response and fear of it being labeled an act of war or causing a sharp rise in oil prices. So very interesting. The Trump administration chickened out. And many Iranian officials believe that another confrontation with the U.S. is inevitable and that the current talks can only delay U.S. military action, according to a European official in contact with Iran's leadership. And big news coming out of Syria overnight. U.S. forces departed the Al-Tanf base in eastern Syria, and they have now relocated them to Jordan. Okay, so this is a planned relocation. The U.S. is leaving Syria now. Okay, they're leaving the Al-Tanf military base. I don't think this has anything to do with Iran, but it could. We'll have to wait and see. And we have some very interesting news coming out of Texas. So many of you guys heard yesterday that there was this drone infiltration into El Paso from the cartels. They sent drones into El Paso. Well, we're hearing some very unusual, conflicting reports related to this, and it's hard to believe what's real and what's not. But we're hearing now that basically Homeland Security or Customs and Border Patrol shot down some kind of balloon with a laser system, and apparently this laser system was secretly delivered to Homeland Security by Hegseth, the Defense Secretary, without notifying U.S. NORCOM or the FAA. But very strange situation over there over El Paso. They're now saying that there was a balloon that flew over El Paso and not cartel drones. But I don't know what to believe. Very weird situation there. And the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, said that NATO is ready to respond to any threat, and our response will be deadly. And Zelensky said yesterday that there will be no peace negotiations in Moscow or in Minsk. And we're hearing that Russia forward deployed 1,000 attack drones near Ukraine, as well as a large batch of cruise and ballistic missiles. So they're getting ready for another big attack on Ukraine. And there was a massive attack on Ukraine last night targeting Kyiv, Dnipro, and Odessa. The Ukrainian foreign minister said hundreds of missiles and drones targeted the energy grid, resulting in power outages, heating, and water supply disruptions. And we're hearing that Russia has effectively fully blocked the WhatsApp inside of Russia, and they're also blocking Telegram now. And Germany will deliver 5 PAC-3 interceptors for Ukraine's Patriot systems if other countries jointly supply 30 more, according to Defense Minister Boris Pistorius. Separately, European partners pledged nearly $38 billion in defense aid at the Ramstein Defense Ministers Summit, which the U.S. skipped. Okay, Hegseth did not go to this defense ministers meeting. And Sweden will be deploying fighter jets and troops to Greenland. And then here we have some video footage of Ukraine launching their latest missile, the Flamingo missile. They launched 6 of them at Russia, and these are the missiles that can go as far as Tomahawk missiles. So they hit some oil refinery with these missiles yesterday. So these missiles reportedly have a range of 2,000 miles, and they have a 1,000 kilogram warhead, so basically double the size of the warhead as a Tomahawk and twice the range. So they're pretty impressive, and they're launched from the ground, as you can see here. And the Canadian Foreign Ministry has issued an advisory urging Canadians to avoid all non-essential travel to Cuba, and is recommending that those currently in the country depart while commercial flights remain available. Interesting. And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will soon announce the appointment of his daughter Kim Joo-ae as his successor. She will become the first woman to lead North Korea. The National Intelligence Service of South Korea believes that Kim Joo-ae is already in the stage of being formally appointed as a successor. Wow. And the U.S. House of Representatives narrowly passed the SAVE Act, which forces people to produce proof of citizenship in order to vote. It passed narrowly by 5 votes, 218 to 213. And we're hearing that the U.S. has deployed 200 troops to Nigeria to train the Nigerian military to combat terrorism. And Trump and First Lady Melania will travel to Fort Bragg in North Carolina tomorrow to meet with service members who participated in last month's operation to capture Maduro. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on tonight with a live update, probably closer to midnight. I will be at the Great American Outdoor Show through the weekend in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So if you go there, maybe you can see me. But it will affect some of my streaming times because the outdoor show goes through the evening, so I won't be able to stream until I get back later on at night. So I'll be streaming closer to midnight Eastern time the next couple of days through Sunday. Also, check me out on Patreon. It's patreon.com/NYPrepper to get all these updates before I release them to YouTube and without advertisements. And also support me on X or Twitter. And you can download my free app from the Google Play Store and for Apple. And it lets me notify you when there's breaking news and when I go live. But until later on, have a good evening. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.